Cool. We're live. What's up, everybody? We're just hanging out. I told you I'd be back, and we are back. We're just going to hang out for a little bit. I don't know, like 10, 20 minutes, see if anybody wants to chit chat, get the comments pulled up. But we're just hanging out, late night chat, hangout session. I had a pretty good day. So I went to the gym. We did a 30-minute aerobic session on the Echo bike and absolutely destroyed it. It was amazing. We did 3.28 watts per kilogram for the entire thing, which is amazing. I have never hit anything over 3 watts per kilogram ever for anything 20 minutes or longer. And so that's super cool. And then it was just short little aerobic piece, 30 minutes, sustainable effort, really building that capacity. And then tomorrow is training, like heavy training. So we'll deadlift, we'll do some like mixed modal aerobic work, and then we'll rock and roll from there. And it'll be super good. It'll be super smooth. We'll see how it feels. Last week was the first time we deadlifted heavy. So we hit 405 last week. We've got it written at 415 this week. We'll see how 415 feels. We'll warm up. We'll hit like 375, 395, and then 415. So we'll do 7, 5, and then 3. So we're going to deadlift super heavy tomorrow. Well, not super heavy, like relatively heavy. We're going to try and hit one at 415. But yeah, it was a good day, guys. It was a super good day. So we're just vibing, just hanging out, maybe do a Rubik's Cube. But yeah, guys. What is up? We're just hanging out, doing a Rubik's Cube, having a good old time, interact, ask a question. Yo, what's up? How's it going? I don't know what GG means. I don't speak internet. Yo, what's up? You're gonna have to teach me. Like, teach me what these things mean, right? Like, I'm an old man, 31 years old. Yeah, I don't know what any of that means, but somebody can teach me. Like, I don't know how to speak internet. Yo, what's up? I am doing well. How are you doing? I'm just vibing. We're just hanging out, having a good time. Hello. How I'm fatter than first, not trying to mean how did you get so much fat loss? I don't totally understand your question, but I lost 84 pounds in the past year. So I started going to the gym in April of 2025. And it was really two big things, big on like lifestyle and stuff like that. But I quit snacking. So I only ate at meals, and then I ate twice a day, and I lost 75 pounds eating out the entire time. I never once cooked a home meal for like 7 months or so. I didn't have a home. So my story was kind of crazy. So I was bouncing between like hotels, motels, couches, and my truck. And I just had to eat at like Chick-fil-A, tropical smoothie, Chipotle, Mission barbecue, stuff like that. So, oh, cool shit. Okay. GG means good game. If that's true, cool. I appreciate everybody explaining to me how to speak internet. Oh, cool, dude. I appreciate that. I'm always here for the support. I appreciate the support. I'm glad you're doing good. What are y'all up to tonight? What time is it? For me, it's 11:16. I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Florida. FA. There's so many things. I don't know what that means, man. I don't know what it means. Yeah, it was tough. Honestly, like probably like circumstance sort of thing, divine timing. So life blew up. It wasn't amazing. And as a result, I didn't have the opportunity to necessarily have like food. in my like hotel or in my car and stuff like that. And so it definitely like helped in the beginning. It helps have some like really good habits, right? So that's why I try to tell people that the environment, you need to set your environment up for success. Like you don't have to not have food. Like now that I am like back to normal, we've got food in the pantry, food in the fridge and stuff like that. And like we've got good like impulse control where we don't pig out every night. But definitely like if resisting food is something you can't do, you got to get rid of it, right? Like you don't have to get rid of all of it, but you got to get rid of some of it. It's determination, follow your dreams. What did I say about following my dreams? I mean, of course, like yeah, but I don't think I said anything in this live stream about following my dreams. I'm in the north. Cool, man. Is it how's the weather? I think in upstate New York it was like pretty nice today, so I heard. What's my sleep schedule? So I have my alarm set for 7 a.m. every day. So I do this full time, like I coach full time. I've got in-person clients, remote clients, and my calendar is blocked until 10:30 in the morning. So I wake up at 7 every single day. I take care of my stuff. Our schedule is rearranging right now. It's turning into a little bit more of the internet's time in the morning, which is fine. But typically, like I wake up at 7, I'll go on a walk, I'll cook like my first meal, take a shower, get ready for like all of my stuff for the day. And then first appointment is at 10:30. And then I will do appointments whenever they come up for the rest of the day. And that's my schedule. And then I try to go to bed by midnight every night. 7 hours is enough to function at a high level for me. So like 8 would be great, but 7 works. And so that is my sleep schedule. 7 hours from about midnight to about 7 in the morning. That's what I rock and roll with. What's your sleep schedule? Yeah, so I coach full time. So I do in person like personal training and then like remote coaching online. So I basically like lost all the weight myself, was like, I like doing this. Let's do it for other people. And so that's what I got into. I started doing Jesus Christ, why so little? 3 hours or 4 hours, bad math, but 4 hours. Why are you only sleeping for 4 hours? What do you do? But yeah, so I started doing like personal training in August of 2025. And then I went fully um left the physical location in December. So I'm not fully remote. I still have a few like in-person clients, but yeah, left the PT job in December. That's the right way to say that. So yeah, we're just hanging out. We're trying to get a feel for like the internet, right? The YouTube thing. So live streams are cool. This is only like my third day live streaming, maybe my second day. I'd have to do the math. I think it's my third day live streaming, but just trying to get a vibe for it, trying to like get out there. I was live streaming earlier, so I do a daily journal prompt. So I do journal prompt every morning, journal prompt every evening, and I've started doing it on YouTube as a live stream. And so I was doing that like 20 minutes ago, and um, I lost my train of thought. I'm not going to be very good at live streaming if I can't keep my freaking train of thought. But yeah, guys, that's what we're just out here vibing. We're just having a good time. Late night live stream, just trying to get myself out there and meet new people on the internet. That's what we're doing. We've got a Rubik's Cube for when it gets a little slow. If you have any questions, we're just vibing, guys. We're just asking questions. We're answering questions. If you want to interact, interact. If you don't want to interact, don't interact. But it's way more fun when you interact. Definitely more fun. But if you're still here, you never answered. Why 9 p.m. to 1 a.m.? Like it's a whack schedule, right? Like that's rough. What's everybody else up to? Is it late at night? Is it what time zone? It is later than 9 p.m. Cool, man. Deuces. Have a good night. I guess it's gonna be a mystery. Still don't know what you do. But it's hard. 10:22. Okay. Okay. Nice. Well, enjoy your night. Have a good night. I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit longer. I gotta get undistracted. It's hard to try and like respond to you guys in the comments while doing the Rubik's Cube. But I will prioritize you guys in the comments because that's what we're here for. We're here for the live stream, right? So boom. I don't really want to just like sit here and talk to myself, right? Like that's not fun. And then what do I talk about anyway? It hasn't been a very eventful evening, so there's not much to talk about. We're gonna lift heavy tomorrow. We're gonna hopefully hit our top set of deadlifts tomorrow at 415. So that'll be cool. And other than that, not a lot going on. Not a lot going on. But I don't know. Y'all can see like all the Rubik's cubes in the back. I'm a big fan of Rubik's cubes. So I'll just sit here and I'll do Rubik's cubes until people ask questions. Oh, there you go. How much weight have I lost? So the most weight that I lost was 84 pounds. So I was at my heaviest in March of 2025 at 257. And then about 2 weeks ago, I hit 173 at my lowest. And so in the past 3 weeks, we've been reverse dieting back up. And so the game plan, what we're trying to do right now is hit like 32 to 3,500 calories as our new maintenance. And so we're at like 3,000 calories a day right now is what we're eating. I did a little bit less today. So I did like 2850, I think, something like that. But yeah, we're reverse dieting over the next got about 4.5 more weeks of this training phase. So like this nutrition, this training, and then we'll reassess where we're at, see how things are going. Right now I'm feeling super strong in the gym. So squats feel amazing. Like everything feels amazing, but especially squats. Squats feel amazing with what I'm eating. And like, again, we're reverse dieting. So just feeling good, feeling super strong. We're a little softer than like a couple weeks ago, but not too bad. It's not too bad. We gotta do everything in due time, right? Oh, nothing motivated me. My life exploded. My life was a disaster. So within a 6 month period, I got fired. I lost custody of my children. My wife left me. I lost my home. What else? It ultimately ended in me couch surfing, sleeping in my truck, in a hotel and motels, and just like, um, and there was like two options, like when you're in that situation, you can like give up lights out or you don't give up. And so, like, obviously we didn't give up. We're here, right? And that is, yeah, yeah. So that was September of 2024 to June of 2025. All of that happened in that 6 month period. So it was crazy. But yeah, we didn't give up. We're here, right? So reverse dieting is I'm sure like some people would describe it maybe a little different, but basically it's the opposite of like a regular diet, right? Like I know that's super tautological. What's a reverse diet? Oh, it's the backward. Like, but if people are dieting to lose weight, a reverse diet would be let's like gain weight. I don't want to gain weight, but what I am doing is I am trying to reset my metabolism and like basically create a new set point, right? So we're trying to increase my metabolism to where my new normal is like 3,200 to 3,500 calories. So, especially recently in the past like 6 to 8 weeks, we've been pretty aggressive on the fat loss. So, for the first like 8 months of my weight loss journey, I lost 75 pounds and was not aggressive with it at all. I ate out for every meal. I just really did like these really basic like lifestyle guidelines, these KPAs that I would do every day that are really easy to hit, take very little effort. And we just like slow rolled the weight loss for like 8 months, right? Made incredible progress, but not a lot of effort was done on that front. Once I got to a certain weight, I was like, cool, man, I want to keep going. Like I do this full time. I was like, I want my body to be like my own billboard. I want it to be an aesthetic hook. And so I was like, I'm going to be really intentional about getting lean, like super lean, like freaky lean. And we're not freaky lean yet, right? We're on the way, but we have been dieting down since like January. We'll call it like the 1st of January. We've started being more aggressive with like the aesthetic approach. And so we cut, we maintain, we cut, we maintain. And so I got all the way down to like 173, super lean. And I was like, cool, man, it's probably time to try and rebuild some muscle, kind of reestablish what baseline actually is. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to spend the next 6 weeks reestablishing baseline, reverse dieting, our calories back up to something that's not super low. That way we can eat like a normal amount of food, feel good, also build muscles, strength, stuff like that. And so that's what we're doing. Rock bottom to pretty good. Yeah, we're not completely out of the woods yet, but we're definitely on the other side of the disaster. And so yeah, it's for sure. It's like so much better. And everything, especially like not only is it cool to have like hit rock bottom and now be where we are, but it's also like my life right now compared to where I was before rock bottom is infinitely better. Again, it's not perfect. Like there's obviously things that are like less than ideal, but yeah, I'm just a totally different person. Like obviously we can see physically I'm a different person, but it also changed like up here, right? Very, very, very different person than I was a year ago, 2 years ago, etc. Um, is 3,200 a lot to lose? You must be working out a ton. I actually don't work out a ton. So up until this training phase, I only worked out 3 days a week the entire time. I tried for years to lose weight, and don't get me wrong, like I worked out back in the day, like I loved it. I've struggled with my weight ever since I was in high school, but there'd be seasons where like I'd work out, there'd be seasons where I didn't work out. Like I've always enjoyed trying to work out, right? And I what I found throughout like the last 6 years of where I really got the fattest I've ever been, and no matter what I tried, I couldn't lose it. I learned that the more I do, the way more likely I am to burn out. I like working out. I would go so far as to say I love working out, but it can't be the priority in terms of like the time or the emotional commitment that it requires to work out more than like 3 days a week. Like I don't like it. And then I don't stick to it. So it's not practical. Like maybe I could be in better shape if I worked out more than 3 days a week. But then if I didn't stick to it, I would just go back to being fat. And so practicality is like priority number one. Are we going to stick to the program, right? And so this training phase is the first time in the entire last year that I have started working out more than 3 days a week. And so I'm still doing like full training days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But then I've added an aerobic, like a sustained aerobic effort on Tuesday. So today, that was today. We do 30 minutes on the Rogue Echo bike, sustained aerobic effort. Today it was written at 420 calories across that 30 minutes. And so that ended up being about 272 watts. And then on average, and then the watts per kilogram, because I weighed in today at like 182. And so that ended up being 3.28 watts per kilogram, which is pretty solid. So insane looking back. So genetically, my back is large, right? And so like that's cool. The back looks dope, especially like on certain things. Like yesterday, I recorded myself doing some like cable face pulls, and like it just looked so good, y'all. It looked so good. Um, I'm 5'10" and a half, so not super tall. I think most people would call me like victim weight. Like like for me to look lean, I'm tiny, right? Do I lift heavy or light? So I actually I like lifting heavy. I would go so far as to say I do lift heavy, but we're working our way there. So I've got a couple lifting goals for 2026, and they are contingent upon my body weight as well. I want to hit a 405 back squat this year with my body weight under like 185. I want to hit a 515 conventional deadlift with body weight under 185, and those two will happen for sure. Like I know for a fact I'll hit those. I'd also like to hit a 365 clean and jerk, body weight under 185. I don't know if that'll happen. That's a different it's a different request, so to speak. Um, but like tomorrow, so my training tomorrow, I've got heavy deadlifts for like the first thing I'm doing. So got a set of 7, set of 5, and a set of 3. And tomorrow they're written at the 7 at 375, 5 at 395, and then 3 at 415. So the top set tomorrow will be 415. You don't think so? I feel like so many guys, especially the guys that are like a little bit younger than me, so they're like late 20s, they're pushing for like 200 pounds and blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, like why would you want to weigh 200 pounds? Like, um, yeah, yeah. So typically if I'm deadlifting over 315, I'll throw in a belt. Whether it's like high volume or low volume. That's kind of I can very comfortably lift 315 for very high volume without a belt and not worry about it. But above 315, I'll throw in a belt, even if it's low volume. And then for squatting, I will start wearing a belt at 205, which is pretty light. So when I warm up my squat, so yesterday I hit my top set of squats at 305. So I did similar rep scheme. Yesterday was like 7, 5, 3, then a drop set of 10. And so if I'm feeling froggy fresh, I will do like an extra rep or so, just depending on like how I feel. Like I listen to my body a lot, which is something that like I've also never done. But yesterday was feeling amazing. So I hit a set of 8 at 265. Yeah. Set of 8 at 265, set of 6 at 285, and then I hit a set of 3 at 305, and it felt really good, honestly. Like it was heavy, but it felt good. And then I hit a drop set of 12 at 205. And so yeah, yeah, super like we're working, we're getting there, right? I used to think that under 200 pounds was victim weight after losing 50 pounds. I'm not 195 and 6'1", and I think the whole victim weight mindset is cope. I don't totally understand what that means. I feel like I'm like a little disconnected from like speech sometimes. So if you can explain exactly what you mean, I think I got the gist. But um, have you ever hurt your wrists while doing dips? If so, any tips on warming them up? Yes. So I'm super, super, super intentional about if you guys bear with me, I will find. So I did dips yesterday. Let me. Yeah, 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 cool. So I'll share this video with you guys. I did some dips yesterday, and let me see. I haven't shared a screen yet on these live streams, so let me see if I can figure that out. What we are going to do is oh, cool. That's dope. That makes it so much less sketchy about I don't have to share my screen with you guys. I just upload the file and then we stay all within this. And now I don't have to worry about having something sketchy pulled up. Anyway, cool. Oh, that's super dope, guys. Um, there we go. Cool. But now it's like, no, I want to feel good. Like I joke, I'm like not an old man. I'm 31, but as I get older and older, I want to continue to feel good. And I like being able to like go to the park when I visit my kids and like be able to play with them at the park and be like the active dad and like not the fat dad. Cause I was the fat dad, obviously. And so things like that, like just very intentional. But anyway, what I did to I don't really like warm up anything anymore. We just kind of like there's a really cool book and like take it for what it's worth. Supple Leopard by Kelly Starrett. And then there's another book about it's a like totally different topic, but why zebras don't get ulcers. Um, and those two books, I think, make a pretty strong argument for um you can almost always be warmed up. Um, but read the books, and I think you might understand what I'm saying about that. Um, but in order to get to the point where like we do have this like hypermobility, for wrists, just like doing like wrist circles. So just like put your wrist, like your palms flat on the table and like just do circles around it. And then do it like this, and just start increasing the range of motion and the amount of pressure that it can handle. And then what I always like tell clients is when your wrists have good mobility, you should be able to comfortably do push ups on the back of your hand. Um, so like kind of like a silly standard, but yeah, it gives people something to work to, right? I'm 195. Sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah. I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate the compliment. I feel like I'm the opposite of hardcore. I feel like I'm just consistent. I was somebody in my like school community, so I coach people and people can join my community for free if they don't want to work with me one on one. And they get a lot of like individual time with me, group calls, stuff like that. So it's a pretty good option for people that like can't necessarily afford to work with me one on one or just want to like put their like dip their toe in to start with. But I was talking to this dude and he was asking me like you did this in less than a year. I would have guessed it would have been like 6 years, like two at the like least. And I was like, dude, it's just consistency. I've struggled with consistency my entire life, like literally my entire life. I've been the least consistent person that I know, right? Just like flake on this, flake on that, can't commit to anything. And I finally like figured out how to function and now I can commit to things and I can stick to things long term and the results are incredible. Like if you just stick it out, you win. Like it it sounds like way too easy, but it's people don't have the ability to commit to things and it's crazy. No, dude, I get this question all the time, like literally all the time. So I've got like fairly loose skin, like it you can peel it out like a lot. And then down here is where it's like actually loose. So I've still got a little bit of fat down here, like up here, like that's just skin. But here, like I've got actual fat. And like I joke, I call it like the power pooch, but eventually because like the game plan is like I said to get like freaky lean and so eventually that skin will likely be quite saggy, not like enough to be a problem or to be anything that I would ever want to change cosmetically, but I'm just super fortunate in genetics. Like a lot of stuff is genetics. You just like you gotta sorry guys, but you gotta play the hand you were dealt, right? um And then the other thing is I don't know much about this rabbit hole, but you can find a lot of it on YouTube. There are a lot of people and very, very credible people that make some pretty strong claims about fasting and the benefit of fasting on loose skin. And so if y'all have ever watched like the Diary of a CEO, where that dude like British dude, English dude, interviews people, super long podcast, like 2 to 3 hours, and it's very chill and like Um, he had a cardiothoracic surgeon, like one of the best in the world, on his podcast, and the guy is not like overly like dogmatic or overly like sensationalized, and he makes some pretty bold claims about specifically that fasting and loose skin. And so um, maybe that's a rabbit hole to go down. Maybe there's something to it. Um, I busted my left wrist after a few weeks out of the gym. As a matter of fact, I lost all 2 months progress in 2 weeks off. It's unbelievable. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, like super sucks. So it's hard to lose progress, right? It's hard to feel it. It's hard to not attach emotion to it, right? Like the rebound is way more important than the actual like experience, right? I talk about that with dogs all the time. So, like, do you have a stable dog? Is your dog emotionally stable, right? Is your dog wackadoodle poodle? Meth is a hell of a drug, yo. You think I'm on meth? Is that what you're saying? What specifically about my get up right now, like, is indicative of methamphetamines in my system? The super like calm, chill voice, or like me looking out the blinds like I'm tweaking. Uh, um, what's up though? How are you doing? Where are you coming in from? I am in Florida. So, but I've been a vampire recently. So, super big on walking. I absolutely love walking, but I've been really busy learning social media recently, and we haven't learned a whole lot. A bad drug spreading awareness. Well, good for you. It's good to spread awareness. It's better than spreading other things. But yeah, dude, I've been a freaking vampire recently. Haven't been outside. So it got to the point where it was like really affecting my sleep, really affecting just like my quality of life because I love getting out in the sun. Dog loves getting out in the sun. And we just like going on our morning walks, like listening to an audio book, taking care of some stuff. Like we just love it. And it's been rough. But anyway, this week we got back out and it's been super, super nice. Like just really vibing with it. So we don't have enough time right now. We're still like really busy figuring out YouTube and social media, but we've carved time back into our schedule to get at least 1 hour in the sun in the morning. And I'm grateful for Florida, like bringing it back to Florida. I live in Southwest Florida and I love it. I love it. Any tips on bloating, eating bread, etc.? So again, back to the genetics, like I feel pretty blessed when it comes to like digestion. I don't experience a lot of the side effects that people experience when it comes to food. But what I will say is be mindful. There's not in my opinion, there is not a one size fits all prescription for anything, including like fiber recommendations or protein recommendations or any other variable that predictably affects things like bloating. And so, what I would say is track the data. Like, what are you eating consistently? Is there anything specifically that makes you feel that way? And then start adjusting variables that are predictable variables for bloating, like protein or fiber. Like, are you eating enough fiber? If you're not, like, maybe eat some more. Are you eating too much fiber? Maybe eat some less. And then see how those changes affect your experience of the bloating. And that we can kind of like run that play and apply it to anything. And like, that's probably like best case scenario. I mean, even if you go in for like an allergy food sensitivity test, like typically if somebody comes back like red flags for everything, that's what they'll also tell you. They'll be like, well, you can't get rid of everything. So like, let's figure out which one like affects you the most and get rid of that one. And so you just like eliminate things or change variables like one at a time. You don't change them all, but props man for the physique, not easy, dude. Um, I'm gonna argue back on that one. It has not been hard. It has not been hard, which is the weirdest experience of my life. Life changed a lot. In a 6 month period, my life completely blew up, imploded, exploded, whatever the case may be. But got fired in, I think it was September of 2024. And then everything just got worse. You would think that would be the worst one, but got fired in September of 2024. And then we sold our house, moved to Florida. And from there, we ran out of money. We lost the rental house. We lost custody of our children, and my wife left me. And so, surprisingly, I don't know if I just became exceptionally skilled at dealing with stress. And so it's like, this is nothing. Or, um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just vibe with it, man. Like, I'm a different person than I used to be. And life is so different. But the experience, back to the question or the comment, props, dude. I appreciate it. Like I appreciate the feedback and the compliments. I'm here for it. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Everyone is different for sure. Life is a very like n equals one situation, right? I do shave now, so I shave almost every day. Um, yeah, I shaved this morning, so yeah, it was, I mean, maybe it was a little brutal. Like, in the moment, the experience of it was brutal, like, every step of the way, I remember getting fired, and I was like, "What?" Like, um, and then, like, that was a disaster of a day, like, we don't even wanna go back to that, and then, like, when my wife left, I was like, "What?" Um, it was wild. So, no, the answer is no. But there are choices that I make, especially in seasons of life. So, um, it depends on what the goal is, right? So, we've got our goal. So, we're going to talk broad first, then we'll like narrow it down to your actual question. In everything, we've got the goal, the vision, right? So the vision is broad, the vision is in pictures, it's beautiful, it's in our head. It's not very objective, like it's subjective, right? That's the goal. Now let's make it objective. Let's come up with like KPOs, right? Let's be a systems guy real quick. So we got to like have objective measurements of what does it mean to succeed. How will we know when we've gotten to the goal, when we've gotten to the vision? So KPOs. Now we reverse engineer KPIs. How are we going to gauge our progress along the way, right? Because we'll have to have this idea of like what works, what doesn't work, right? We need a GPS of sorts. So those are our KPIs. And then we reverse engineer down to KPAs. And so Google would tell you KPAs are one thing, but I'm going to tell you KPAs are key performance activities, right? And so you basically reverse engineer from the beautiful vision down to the daily activities that, because we're all functional human beings to some degree with good logical reasoning from the vision all the way back to these daily activities, we should reasonably expect if we can have 80% compliance or higher that we will reach the goal one day. Now, we've got the goal. How do we make sure that the goal is like a good goal, right? How do we get crystal clear on the right goal? Well, we have to have two other things in place before we can ever goal set. We have to know what our principles are and we have to know what our values are. And once we know our principles, our guiding principles, and once we know our values based on our principles, now we can make sure our goal is in line with those two things. And now we've got three filters that we run every decision through. Does the decision run through the filter of principles? Does the decision run through the filter of values? And does the decision pass through the filter of the goal? And if it does, we proceed guilt free, shame free, and we don't second guess it. In that, you apply that back to food. So right now, I'm cooking all of my food exclusively. I'm not eating out because again, we said the goal is to get freaky, right? Like I'm lean, I'm very happy with how I look. I would live like this for the rest of my life, but we have goals that I believe, having reverse engineered it, would benefit me to be more aesthetically freaky, right? Ab veins, quad veins, that's the direction we're headed in. Um, so that dictates the food choices. My kitchen's over there, which is why I keep pointing towards it. That dictates the food choices, right? So I'm choosing to cook my meals. I'm choosing to eat more voluminous foods because we are trying to diet down. Lose weight means we've got to be in a calorie deficit. Thermodynamics are thermodynamics, regardless of like what some internet gurus would try to tell you. And so again, it's a little tautological, the answer, but you have to choose what to include and avoid based on your goals, right? Is your goal to lose weight and not have like food noise? Then we should probably avoid like satiating carbs, or not satiating, like savory carbs. That's the word I was going for. Like savory carbs. So like salty and sweets, probably a bad idea if we're trying to like avoid food noise. Like pickles, like just keep pickles in your fridge. Those are awesome. Or like banana peppers or pepperoncinis. Um, but then if food noise isn't an issue, then we don't need to avoid things like that, right? Or like food timing or like whatever, right? I would much rather eat less food, but it be delicious than eat more food and it be like a rabbit's food. But that's me, right? I would rather like eat one meal at Olive Garden that's 2,400 calories for the whole meal versus like just not go to Olive Garden. Um, Personal preference, but you gotta figure out like what your personal preference is, right? And like what works, what doesn't work. So you've got to like run these cycles of like you gotta try something, collect the data, and then you keep what works and you get rid of what doesn't, and then you keep running that cycle on loop, and you start down here, and then it keeps getting better and better and better and better, and then you're at your goals, and like that's how that works. Um, So interesting. I weigh the exact same that I weigh, not the exact same. I looked last night because I started saying this and then I checked on the on the app, about 5 pounds lighter than I was in January, like January 1st. So little bit of context. I lost 75 pounds from April 14th of 2025 until Christmas of 2025. After Christmas, I went to New York City for New Year's Eve. So went there for about 4 nights, 5 days, did the whole thing, ball drop, private event, whatever. Had a good time. Um, on that trip, I was like, cool, this is where I started to dip my toe into like, okay, I'm gonna start trying to like organic, like do organic marketing on social media. And I was like, cool, I'm a little soft. Like I've lost 75 pounds, but I'm like, I'm not real crisp. And one of my friends is doing very, very, very well on social media, but he's a specimen. Like he's fucking paper thin, veiny, like it's crazy. And so I was like, cool, man. Like, I'm gonna like try and head down that like direction and see if that is a higher return on investment. And so I got back from New York, started being intentional, started actually tracking my calories, tracking my macros, being intentional about cooking, quit eating out. Like that was kind of um the the trigger event, right? And in that, we got down. So we started at about 190 at the beginning of January, and we got down to 173 at the lowest, which was 3 weeks ago. And we have come back up to, we were at 182 this morning. And I weigh myself like every morning, account for as many variables as possible. But um, I look way, 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 way leaner at 183 right now than I did at 183 6 weeks ago. And so I'm okay and comfortable because of that, continuing to slowly increase over the next 5 weeks. We're not going to go crazy with it, but the gym, again, like the lifting feels fantastic. I am getting more vascular even as I'm gaining weight. And so that would be indicative of still losing fat. Um, Definitely right now too, like a lot of water retention. My fucking whoops. my water is all over the place. Like it's potentially concerning right now. Like it's a lot of there's a lot of there's a ton of fluid fluctuation, but I'm super stressed right now and not sleeping great. So probably that. I got to go. I got an 8-inch grip on a 10-inch turd. I like that. Well, I appreciate you tuning in. I think that was your first comment. You should have commented earlier. Banana peppers are such a hack. Dude, I put banana peppers in every single one of my meals. The entire bottle, like the entire jar of banana peppers is 25 calories. Like we don't even have to count. We don't even have to weigh. Like so to the food to stay away from, the way I choose to stay away from food is how easy is it for me to cook, right? If it takes a lot of effort, I avoid it. Like low hanging fruit, minimum effective dose, I'm looking for a high ROI on a very low effort. Um, because I know that I don't have the cognitive load to take care of everything else that I need to take care of in life, and then also have to put effort into the food. I've been live streaming my meals, and like it takes about like 15 to 20 minutes to like start to finish. To I start the live stream having prepped nothing, and then I cut the live stream off once it's ready to eat. And so again, like a 20-minute video to totally fix a meal. Last time I drank an energy drink was probably like 4 p.m. So like 8 hours ago. Um, I fasted twice in the last calendar year. I've never fasted for the purpose of losing weight. I fasted so in the process of the custody issue with my children, I there was a 6 week period where I wasn't even allowed to like talk to the phone, like talk to them on the phone. And that was difficult. And so I chose to fast. That I fasted for about 10 days at the beginning of that because I needed a um realistically, I needed a distraction. And it didn't have to be a distraction. Like we can call it what it is, right? Like a numbing behavior and avoiding behavior that wasn't maladaptive. I chose that instead of like drinking or drugs or like sex, porn, gambling, whatever. So the fasting was my like coping mechanism in that moment. And it worked really well. So that was super cool. And then I did a fast about 3 weeks ago. I did a 7 day fast, and I did it for marketing. I did it solely to get eyeballs, and it worked pretty well. So um, yeah, dude, my day is amazing. We're wrapping it up pretty soon, but we crushed it. Super excited. Like the biggest win of today was the gym. So we did 30 minutes on the Rogue Echo bike, and it was amazing. It's the first time I've ever done over 3 watts per kilogram for 20 minutes or longer. And it was so good. It felt so good. Like I felt strong afterwards. Like it was just good. And so day's been pretty good. How was your day? I think 11 days. So like not finished 11 days, but like we made it past 10 days and then like 10 and a half ish days. Um, who's the bodybuilder that's sleeping? What did you write? What is it with bodybuilders eating super late and sleeping little? Who's the bodybuilder that's eating super late and sleeping little? The last calories I had today was at like 2 p.m. I get done with my food early. Yeah. And then he beat a baby seal to death. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. No idea. Oh, thank you. So right now I am like ballpark 3,000 calories. So today I did like 2850. The game plan where reverse dieting is to end this 6 week phase at like somewhere between 3,200 and 3,500 calories as our new maintenance, right? That's the goal. Obviously, we can't dictate that entirely. Like, I can't sit here and be like, "Hey, body, like, do this," because I'm not gonna go like we're not gonna go like work ourselves to death. I'm not gonna go just like increase through like movement and exercise. Like, we have a life to live, right? But the game plan is to get us to like 32 to 3,500 being the maintenance, maintaining like aesthetics exactly as they are, and then reassessing what the next phase is going to look like. So, but right now, like this week, today's Tuesday, but last week I averaged, I think, like 2930 was my average caloric intake day to day. And so this week will be a little bit higher. Because again, we're like slowly moving up, but yeah. I was 400 plus pounds beginning of last year, now 260. Holy cow, that is a huge difference. That is a massive difference. Good job. I stepped on a scale. It read, I fasted for 7 days, got my first reading at 397. Yeah, dude, that's cool. That's super cool. I have been fasting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Just started doing cardio. So I got a question for you if you're still here. Somebody asked earlier, how did I avoid loose skin? I did not start as heavy as some people. My heaviest ever was 257. And I'm currently, today I was 182. But my answer to anybody that asks about loose skin is obviously I've got loose skin, but it's like, oh, that didn't feel good. But like, it's like, a little elastic. I've definitely got more loose skin down here. I've also got fat down here. But um, there's some well-renowned people that are arguably not charlatans, not super dogmatic in their thinking, and they make some pretty bold claims about how fasting helps with loose skin and weight loss. And so, what is your experience with that? A lot of them, dude, especially Cali muscle. Okay. So, I I don't follow a lot of bodybuilding. It's not my vibe. It's not my vibe. In fact, I don't follow a lot of famous people at all anywhere. I found it like very depressing and distracting. And so like purged like everything. Like I follow like 87 people on Instagram. I'm gonna have to look up Cali Muscle because I don't know who that is. Yeah, I definitely don't know who that is. But he claims fruit. Okay. Cool, man. Well, I eat fruit every day. Like maybe I'll look like that if I eat fruit for long enough, right? Wild. Wild. I don't know what that means either. I was drinking 1 gallon of sweet tea, stopped drinking that, only water. And when I tell people I was 400, no one believes me. Then I show pics. I don't really show like a flap of skin, but was round everywhere. Dude, it's crazy. I wonder why people don't believe you. Is it just like the shock factor? They're like, no way. I guess that makes sense. Like it makes sense. But dude, good job. That's so cool. What started you on like down that path? What caused you to make the decision to like lose weight? Because when people ask me, like I've been trying for years and it just so happened that like divine timing for me. Divine timing. Basically, he was famous back in the day for being huge and doing prison workouts. He's just a joke of his former self. Okay, yeah. I feel like it's a hard it's a hard world to live in, right? Like the entire world revolves around that dopamine hit of the phone, the ding ding ding. And it would be a hard how do you stay relevant as you get older in age, right? And yeah, that'd be a hard generation to be in right now. Yeah, no, don't, no idea. I mean, I'm looking at them. I got them pulled up on Google right now. Still like, wouldn't have known. Yeah, but I'm also 6'5". I was driving Uber, picked someone up that clearly worked out. I asked him, he said, "What are you drinking?" I told him that, and I stopped my 2 cups of sugar in my tea. Yeah, dude, that's wild. That's super cool. Are you still on your journey? Are you still trying to lose weight? And like, what are you, is it solely diet? Is it solely the fasting like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or are you working out too? Yeah, so I have this really cool conditioned response to my phone. And when I was in high school, I got sent to a therapeutic boarding school. So if any of you have ever seen the Netflix documentary, The Program, it's one of those. They call it a boarding school, but it's like not a boarding school. I mean, of course it is. Like I lived there, but we got punished in hours. So, like a cuss word, 4 hours. A bath towel on the floor, because that was a serious standard, 8 hours. If you like smoked a cigarette your first time, 8 hours. Second time, restriction one, like things like that. And then when they gave you hours, it was hours of community service on property. It was a 125-acre horse farm. And don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. Like they're taking your parents for a ride the whole time. Like it's expensive. And um not only do like you have to work the hours, you have to wear an orange jumpsuit when you work the hours. And yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, back to the story, right? What's the point of the story? Obviously, we weren't allowed to have phones, and I was there for 14 months. And so I do not have like this phantom phone of like, did my phone ding? Did my phone ding? And that was, I'm 31. And so that was in high school. Like it was like 16 years ago. But like, I just didn't have a phone for 14 months. And like, that gets ingrained in you. And you're like, cool, man. Like, I don't need it. I don't constantly have to use it. And so it's a cool, like, the silver lining, right? Like, there's some silver linings. I quickly seen results and I just turned 31 this year. I figured it won't get any easier later in life and I want to fill my frame out before it's too late. Yeah, I think it's definitely not getting any easier in life. I try to tell people that all the time. Like you see all these cliches online, right? Like pick your hard, right? You can either do hard now or hard later. But there's a lot of truth in that. And in my opinion, the same hard, the because things are psychological too, right? Like we have the physiological experience, but we also have the psychological experience. And while the physics of the experience might be identical today or in 30 years, the experience is not going to be the same because our ability to function in life is going to be drastically diminished. And so while the task itself might be like physiologically the same, the experience is going to be so much worse. And so front load the effort, get it done now, and enjoy the back nine. Roll the dice and just like enjoy the back nine. That's my philosophy now. It wasn't my philosophy. I had given up completely, completely. I was hopeless, right? Before, like I said, like the divine intervention where life just like exploded and it was either like give up, lights out, or don't give up. Um, I had emotionally given up where I was like, I hated my life. I was miserable. I was not present with anybody in my life at work, at home, whatever. And just like drinking all the time. Like I would get done with the day, come home and just like get trashed. And like that was kind of my vibe. And I was like, never going to intentionally do lights out. But I was like, I don't really care. Like, if the environment does it to me. And so like super dark, but like that's where I was. I was just like, I don't really care what happens because like what's the point, right? So yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna keep on having, it's so hard for me to read the comments. I'm not good at this. Like I have to increase the skill of reading the comments. But it's only day three. It's day three. We're figuring it out. Okay. Yeah. I'm a keep on keeping on. for have changed my lifestyle. Also, I have a 10-year-old and I don't want any of her role models being average. Dude, I think that's dope. I love that. Um, I've got two daughters. They don't live with me. They live a couple states away, but I've got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they are so cool. But I'm so proud of like where I'm at compared to like the last time they lived with me, because like I point it out all the time. They're like, they make comments and I'm like, this is how people look. This is how people are supposed to look. And it's like, it's just cool. They're cool. Kids are so cool. So good on you for like being mindful of that. This week was the first week that I picked up protein shake and drank one of those on days I was fasting, but I'm trying to learn about fitness and zone 2 and stuff. So I've been on the treadmill most days. Dude, that's dope. Huge fan of cardio. Prescribed cardio. Just like cardio kings and cardio queens, probably not like the biggest fan of, but um when we're intentional about the dose response, right? Like when we know what we're going after, like there's a rhyme and a reason for everything. And I love it. I love cardio. And then zone 2. So I like map training a little bit better. It's basically a zone system, but it goes like 10 through 1. And 10 is like pretty zone 2-ish. So like map 10 is kind of zone 2. Um, we're oversimplifying and like maybe I'm blurring the lines a little bit, but that's the gist. So map 10 is technically your 4-hour race pace. So if I told you to go as far as you can, as fast as you can for 4 hours, whatever your like split time was, you would train map 10 for 1 hour at that pace. That's how we would like define map 10. But what's up? What's up, guys? I caught up with the comments. That's cool though. That's cool. Like sometimes we just gotta vibe. I've enjoyed going through the comments. The comments are dope. Yeah, so I think it stands for max aerobic potential or power. Let me ask the Google what it stands for, but yeah, MAP. Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna have to. Here's my thing. Okay, so I see people all the time. You got to forgive me. I'm gonna be a little skeptical. I don't know you, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but I'm skeptical when people say they have curly hair, because inevitably they don't have curly hair. They have like slightly wavy hair. I kid you not. This person like yesterday was like, my hair's so curly. And I was like, your hair is arguably not even wavy. Like you just don't fix it. It's not curly. Like this is curly, but it's relaxed curly. Like it's not even like curly curly. My hair used to be like tighter curls when I was younger. And so things like that, I'm like, come on. I'm like, come on. I told you I'd give you the benefit of the doubt. Like this is day one. We've never met each other, right? But I will still stand by what I said. I am skeptical of people because of that experience. Somebody will be like, "Oh, I've got curly hair," and I'm like, "You don't." Like, like maybe it's subjective, but like you don't. um, okay, cool. So, MAP stands for maximum aerobic power. MAP. Yep. So, um, but then you basically like work it from 10 down to 1, and it allows you to do a very prescriptive progression. So like you hear everybody, it's a freaking buzzword, right? Progressive overload this, progressive overload that. And so you have this very logical chain of events, this logical cycle of like map 10, map 9, map 8, all the way down to map 1. And it basically allows us to like build the base and then stack bricks on top of the base. And then we repeat and recycle, right? We rinse and repeat. So I get a regular, like, just like general health client, right? Not a athlete or anything like that. And we'll just start doing like map 10. And then we'll like graduate to map 9, and then like map 8, and then map 7, and then map 6, and then map 5, and then map 4. And then we may go back to like map 10 and repeat the cycle all the way up to like map 5, 4, 3. And then we'll like repeat the cycle. So we just kind of loop it again. We start down here and we just loop it as fitness increases, right? Because inevitably we've worked from like map 10 to map 4 with this Gen Pop client. And now when we go back to map 10, they're fitter than like when they were there last. So the map 10 is going to be different, right? That 4-hour race pace is now better. And so now the dose response to the map 10 training is going to be different because the application of the map 10 training is different. And so we just like run that. Anyway, I like that. I like those levels. I also think it's a little bit more intuitive. I'm a big fan of like practical. Like if you can't do it in practice, it's worthless. And so to me, it's like, again, just like a little easier to stick to. Yeah. But yes. Yes. What else we got? What else we got? I've got the Rubik's Cube. I just sit here and do the Rubik's Cube until the next comment rolls in. But I found it's very hard to do the Rubik's Cube and concentrate on the live stream. So you mentioned cardio, the treadmill. Are you are you averse to like weightlifting? Are you what's your day-to-day look like? Like is it a time restriction thing, like an emotional restriction thing, or am I just like crossing way too many assumptions? Um what's the drive towards the treadmill and the zone 2 stuff? And is there any resistance to the idea of like resistance training? And then this Rubik's Cube, not this one. These are dope though. This Rubik's, the brand Rubik's finally. Ooh, big buff black guys SS. Somebody explain to me what the SS stands for. I don't know what that means. I learned so much on these. Everybody like I learned so much. People teach me everything. Nah, that's the next step. I was too big to do anything for any amount of time. Yeah, it's dude, it's so like so a lot of people don't realize that either. I tend to not get in like internet arguments because it's like dumb. But I did go to bat recently for this dude. Dude's got like 1 million followers. But like people are giving him a super hard time for like how little he can walk. So he's using like like big dude. And I think he's got some like structural issues in his bones, but big dude. And so he's doing like the hula hoop exercise thing. And people are like, that, like, just go walk a mile. Like, dude can't walk a mile. Dude can barely walk from his car to the freaking store. Like, people are at where they're at. I don't know. I think the judgment in that is a little ridiculous. It's like, come on, like it's okay. Like we don't all start at the same spot and we all have to start where we start. And like, I don't know. But yeah, so that yeah, for sure. The gym is also like I don't even like there's the gym around here, especially in the evening, it's so like ratchet. It's all like high schoolers, and it's crazy and it's so busy, but it's miserable. Like I'm just like I just want to be an old man in peace. So I don't have a membership to a gym. I got like a 30-pound dumbbell instead of 10-pound dumbbells, and have been getting into some deep stretching since I have been so tight for so long. Okay, yeah. What I like more than anything is time under tension in terms of like full range of motion. So Were you here when I showed the dips? I'll show them again. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can see them again. Mean by that is um, the way to improve your range of motion in a squat. The most effective way to do that is by squatting, um, not by like stretching your like hips, right? Um, there's nothing wrong with stretching your hips, and if you find benefit from that, like this is just a single example, but what I would say is like if the purpose is like functional range of motion, then my first thought would be let's do it in those positions, right? um if we want to stretch for other reasons, like I'm all for it. Really, like maybe the biggest benefit is just like like the neurological response of like down regulating. So like we have like what is it, like the polyvagal theory. And so if we just like are stretching to down regulate our nervous system to like reap the benefits of that, like all for it. But my personal clients that I work with one on one, I would steer them away from stretching unless like that's what they're doing it for. Like if you want to go to yoga or Pilates, not really. But if you want to go to like yoga or like a stretch class because it's calming and you like it and you vibe out with it and like it's fun, like all for it, right? But if the sole purpose is like we have crappy mobility and we're trying to get better at mobility, active ranges of motion are probably a better bet. That's what I would put my like resources into. Um, Same, but like I'm 6'5". When I'm in the gym, I feel like people like, why are you only lifting your big AF? Yeah, the people are jerks. People are freaking jerks. Awesome. What are we saying awesome to? The video? It's like it's a cool video. Like, but I don't like the setup. So this is the gym we have here, and like I need a better dip setup. It's awkward. I don't like, so we've got two dip bars. One's a lot lower, but doing weighted dips, it starts to like move the leg because the legs of the um thing are not bolted into the ground. And so it's not the strongest of metals. And so like body weight plus a 20-kilo kettlebell, it starts to like slide out from under itself. It's crazy. It's like not the best. So then this is by far the better option, but it's like super, oof, burps. It's super high up, and it's like I'm gonna like fall on my face, like break my teeth, twist my ankle, and like I wish there was a better setup. But I digress. I digress. We've earned the right to work out on that machine, I guess, right? Like we've gotten to this point where we are competent and capable, and like we can probably safely navigate the steps up to the dips, right? But yeah, if this weekend project, if you're still here, what are your thoughts on what I said about stretching and mobility? And then if you weren't here, I think that I had already mentioned this, but if you like, I know I mentioned it, but I think I mentioned it before the dips. If you didn't see the dips, you didn't hear this. Two books I would read on backing up the claim I just made. Um, Supple Leopard by Kelly Starrett, and Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. Very different like genres, but one's like a psychology book. The other one's a um, physiology book. He's a physical therapist, I think. The Supple Leopard guy, and then Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers is a like a psychology self help book. But both are good books. I would recommend them in general, but specific to what I was saying about like ranges of motion and stretching and stuff like that, I would read these two books. Hmm. The comments are dead, guys. We ain't got no more commenters. So comment because it's way more fun. It's way more fun. I feel benefit from, I guess, basic stretching. Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's my thing too with everybody. Everybody. If you're bought in, you're bought in. Do it. Right. Like if you like it, do it. If Susie comes in and says, I want to do keto, Susie, we're doing keto. Right. Like if she's like, my best friend Beth lost 100 pounds on keto. So I'm so excited because I need to lose like 80. Cool, Susie. Let's do it. Let's do keto, girl. Let's talk through what keto actually is, how you're going to apply it to your life, and let's go shopping for some keto friendly food, right? Because buy in makes it practical. If Susie comes in and wants to do keto, and I'm like, no, we're going to do like balanced macros because keto's dumb, like Susie's gonna like not be compliant with anything because she's gonna be like, okay, well, I'm paying you, so I should listen to you, but then like she's not going to have any follow through. She's not going to be compliant because like what's the saying like he who goes against his will is of his own opinion still, right? Like so the buy-in is like the biggest piece when we look at like placebo and like studies and stuff like that. We like the buy-in's super important, right? So yeah. Balls, kettlebells. I don't know if you're like, are you trying to be funny or are you like talking about the actual kettlebells where it's like, I don't know who makes them, but it's a ball and the handle is on the inside of the ball. So like you're holding like the center of the mass versus like outside. I've never used one, but they're weird, but they exist. I like kettlebells. About to put my mattress on the ground tomorrow to fix my posture. Yeah, there's some interesting thoughts about that. I don't think I will, but I will say in 2018 I spent the summer in Austin, Texas, and I slept on the floor the entire time. So I rented a room from a dude in Austin, and he didn't have a bed in that room, and I didn't buy a bed, and so I slept on the floor, and it wasn't too bad. It was a decent summer. It was a pretty cool summer. Austin. I was in Leander, Texas, right outside of Austin. And then I was in Georgetown, which is also right outside of Austin. And there was deer everywhere, white-tailed deer, but they were the littlest deer. They were the littlest freaking deer. And they were everywhere. So like in Georgetown, everybody had fig trees in their yard. And these deer, you would just see like a herd of like 8, 12 deer just roaming through, eating the figs, eating the roses. And yeah. Fun fact, deer don't like fig leaves because their texture. So I have an orchard and I've got about 53 trees and I do not fence off the figs when they're babies where I fence off all the other trees. Because the deer just like for the most part don't mess with them. And so it's like a low ROI activity to spend all that time putting posts in the ground, putting up a fence, all that stuff. And then where my orchard is, it's far enough north where it's like in the like I don't remember what it's called, but like in the section, it's in 8A. So it's as far north as figs can grow outside because of the winters. And so again, low maintenance taking care of these like trees, I don't. And the branches on the fig trees, they die every year for like the first like 3 or 4 years because they freeze to death, but the roots survive. And so by like year 4 or 5, so the first like 3 or 4 years that they're in the ground, they just grow like babies. Like they never really like take off. But then like year 5, when their root system is huge, they like explode. And then you have a fig tree that can now last the winter. And it's cool. Um, and I learned that on accident, but cool experience. I had a disc bulge and pressed my sciatica nerve. So I had issues a few years back. Since then, haven't been doing mobile like squatting down. I couldn't do that for even like 1 minute. So I think that loaded. That loaded stretch would definitely be more beneficial a bit later in my journey. I swapped to latex mattress. That helped my back so much. I would never go back to a foam mattress. Okay, that's interesting. I've never heard of a latex mattress. I for sure have to get better at reading comments, guys. Like I sound ridiculous and it makes like the comments look worse. Like y'all are fine typing the comments and here I am reading them just like choking on my freaking tongue every time I read them. It's yeah. Yeah, we gotta get better at that. But yeah, so everything's like dose specific too, right? Like just because we say like active mobility and time under tension, it doesn't mean we have to like bottom out the squat. Like your bottom may be like 170 degrees of your hip versus like a completely like closed off hip angle, right? Um, it's super dependent on the individual. And like as an example, I was working with this dude. He like heavy three, like I think it was like 380. Big dude. And he was very short. Like he was super short. Um, but when we would squat, we would do box squats of like 3 inches because that's how far he could go to not like he had some like knee issues, obviously some joint issues. And so that's about how deep he could squat without hurting. And so like everything's dose dependent, right? Like everything like whew, woof. I forgot to highlight your comments, my guy. I forgot to highlight your comments. I wonder what it is with the latex mattress. What do you like about that more? Like what's specific about the latex? That's what mattresses did you know I was gonna ask that question, or were you just typing? Because that's, like, the answer to my question, but you answered it before I finished asking. That's what mattresses used to be made of, to my understanding, but it's cheaper to make with foam and easier to box and ship, so they can just cut it open and then just blows up. Okay, interesting. Huh. I could see that. I could see that for sure. The, my first question is, like, latex. Do and this is again, like this might sound super dumb, but where is latex like I mean, okay, we got latex gloves. I get that. But is latex rubber? Is it plastic? If it's plastic, are there microplastics in it? Like I don't and then what about like people that are allergic to latex? And like that's why we use nitrile gloves like now and like this isn't on you either. Like this is just my brain just like so the pic that's left and right, how much time between the two? So the picture on the left was probably like so that is I sold that house in January of 2025. Those cats were I think like October. Um so probably like October, November of 2024. And I was not at my heaviest at that point. So my heaviest ever, my heaviest in my entire life was April. Nope, just kidding. Was March of 2025. I didn't start going to the gym or losing weight until April. So I like fluctuated. Like 257 was heavy. Like I was steady at like the mid 240s for a while. And then 257 was like some aggressive binging and drinking. And then so we just like naturally kind of came a little bit back down. But my heaviest ever 257 in March of 2025. And then that photo was when the one on the right was probably a month ago at this point. I'd have to check, but that's in Miami. That's in South Beach. And it was the weekend that it snowed in Florida. So I think that was like maybe a month and a half ago at this point. It was 33 degrees when I got to Miami that morning. So I live on the West Coast. I live on the Gulf, but drove to the East Coast. And so we went to an event at this hotel in Miami, and they canceled the event because it was so cold. So um, the two pictures are probably like 13 months apart, 14 months apart. But I lost 75 pounds. So from like March to December, I lost 75 pounds. Yeah, it's actually super cool. I think that's super cool how they pack and like ship. Um, Super cool. Natural latex mattresses are like 10K. No way. No way. That's crazy. We got to look this up. AI overview on Google says typically costs between 1 and 3,000 for a queen. So I'm not gonna pursue that much more, but it's interesting. That's crazy. It's rubber from a tree. Okay, cool. Cool. I don't know much about stuff that I don't know much about. My girl is highly allergic to latex and sleeps on it fine. Oh, weird. Huh. That's super weird. That's cool though. Super cool. What is that? Like what's the how does that work? How does one be allergic to like and as you said, highly allergic. So how does one be highly allergic to latex and then sleep on it fine? That's interesting. I'm about to sneeze. Okay. Guess not. I went to a website that DIY you buy the case, the latex and springs and build it and zip it up. No way. In 10 years, you pull the old latex out and drop new latex in. What? That's cool. That's super cool. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Super interesting. What else? What else you got that's interesting? I don't have much that's interesting. Well, yeah, of course I do. I've got a lot that's interesting, but you guys, you got to ask questions and or prompt the interesting stories, like this story. I learned to do this at the boarding school from hell. Um, so the name of that documentary is The Program: Cults, Cons, and Kidnapping. And so if you watch it, it explains what the kidnapping is. But if you don't watch it, you're like kidnapping, boarding school. Well, they're talking about transporting. So I was transported to my boarding school. So basically, my parents hired at the discretion of the boarding school I went to, right? So basically they like I know none of this is happening, right? Mom and dad like set me up at this place, they do intake, blah blah blah. The boarding school says he's high risk. We recommend he get transported. So um mom and dad hire transport agents and their names were Tim and Amanda. And Typically, what they do is they get you in the middle of the night. They snag you at like 3 or 4 in the morning, and it is so that you can't fight back. You're like the least likely to be awake and coherent at 3 or 4 in the morning. It's like every like tactical raid ever in the history of like special operations is at night. Same idea, right? Um, and so like, anyway, it's just crazy. Anyway, so, like, I guess my parents had the wherewithal to be like, "Yeah, you're not gonna take him in the middle of the night. That's traumatic." So they took me in the middle of the day. I'm in the car with my parents, and my dad is like, "I gotta pull over and get my," and he just, like, keeps stuttering. And I'm like, "Well, that's weird." And so we pull off into this bank, and these 2 strangers get in the back of the truck on either side of me, and tell my parents to like shut up and get out of the car. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? And like my parents do. And I'm like, well, that's also weird. Like, I feel like they would like at least fight for me if I'm getting kidnapped. But nobody told me what was going on. Like, this is like super weird. I'm like 15, right? 15. And Tim and Amanda go through the spiel. They tell me what's like going on with like not a lot of context. Basically, like, we're transport agents. Here's the badge. Um, and here's how this is gonna work. Like, Amanda's gonna get out of the car and you're gonna follow her, and I'm gonna follow you, and I'm gonna hold on to your belt loop the entire time. And you're going to get into that white Dodge Durango, and Amanda's going to get in first. You're going to get in, go to the third row. She's going to sit in the second row, and I'm going to drive. And that's how we're going to do this. And if you try to escape, I'm bigger and faster than you, and I have handcuffs and pepper spray. It's like, cool, man. I was like, the bigger and faster works for me. Like, I'm not going to try and escape. And so we drove, and I grew up in South Carolina. So just think like Columbia, South Carolina, the capital, middle of South Carolina. And we get on I-20 and we're just driving west, I-20 westbound. And then we stop in Atlanta just for the bathroom. And then we keep driving. And then we stop again. And then we keep driving. And 16 hours later, we end up in Dallas, Texas. It's my first time in Texas. And then we stay in a Hampton Inn for 5 days. And nobody tells me what's going on. Every time they take a phone call in the car, they crank the music up. Every time they take a phone call in the hotel, they leave the hotel room. And I'm like, what are we doing? They're like, we're in a holding situation. Like, what the hell does that mean? What's a holding situation? Like, what are we doing? And that's all I knew. And then on day 5, they're like, cool, man. It's moving day. We're moving. And so we leave Dallas and we head east, which is from whence we came. And we get, I don't know, maybe like hour and a half, 2 hours into the drive, and we stop for some gas. And he's like, this is the point where the trip typically gets bad. And I was like, what? And so we get back in the car. He hands me like a big like manila envelope, and it's got like letters in it, and it's got like the packet to the boarding school. And so I pull it out, I look at it, I'm like, cool, man, like wakeboarding, horseback riding, paintball, like this place is dope. Boys and girls. And then I see like 9 to 12 month program. And I'm like, bad, bad. And I start crying like instantly. Like, I'm 15. I'm like putting 2 and 2 together. Like, I still don't know what's going on, but I'm not going home. And then like I see these letters. Like, mom wrote me a letter, dad wrote me a letter, pastor wrote me a letter, mom's friends wrote me letters, grandma wrote me a letter. And mind you, it's got like all of these secrets that I've told my therapists because I've been to therapy. And like, I'm a minor, so like therapist tells mom and dad everything. And apparently mom and dad tell all their friends everything. And like, they're like, we're praying for you. God will help you, like all these things. And like, I'm not like diminishing that aspect of it, but the entire thing's ridiculous. Like, the entire, like, anyway, I learned to do a Rubik's Cube at this place. Long story short, because that was a freaking tangent, guys. Let her touch a latex balloon and it's game over. No way. but something about the mold for the mattress, they bake it or something, and it makes it fine for that's wild. That's super cool. How do I know if I'm a weirdo or not? I mean, I think some people would say, like, if you ask, like, maybe you are, but then maybe that's just, like, attention-seeking behavior. Maybe you're a super cool guy or, like or a cool girl, some guy, but yeah, who knows? Whence we came, old school saying. Um, yeah, I don't even know if I use it right. I think I said from whence, and I think that might be the wrong use of it. I think it's just whence. Um, yeah, language, language. I did use it right or I did use it wrong. Poor dog. We played hard today. We played super hard. I think that's the case. Okay, cool. I think that's the case with everybody. I was actually making this argument with somebody recently, and it's like your own farts, they can sometimes smell sweet compared to other people. Like you smell somebody else's and it's like, oh, the worst. But then you smell your own and it's like, okay, I can deal with this. Like it's not always that way. Like sometimes they're bad, but it's like somebody else's is always worse. Always worse. Swim, swam, swum. When do we use swum? Um, Should dudes shave their underarm hair? Is this the quality of comments we get at 12:49 in the morning on the East Coast? Where are you from? Like, what time zone are you in? I'm on the East Coast. Well, I'm on Eastern time. I'm on the Gulf Coast, but um, I guess these are the quality of comments we get at like 12:48. I mean, I'm always here for a compliment, right? I appreciate the compliment. Nashville. I spent some time in Nashville. Yeah, we'll get into that someday. I don't know if we'll get into that tonight, but Nashville. Been to Nashville a few times, but most recently, I spent 19 days in Nashville. The edibles. I had somebody the other night that was talking about that was justifying their behavior. Like, I don't care. Like, it's the internet, guys. Like, I'm not gonna get offended. People can do literally whatever they want. Like, you can be ridiculous. Like, I might ban you. I banned somebody today. I banned somebody in the comments. Um, they're just being ridiculous. Like, and not even what they were saying. It was just nonsense after like they posted like 12 comments in a row of just like nonsense. And so I was like, yeah, I don't know. I can do what I want, right? Central Time. I live in Cali. Yeah, I've only been to California twice, I think. I think I've only been to California twice. Um, the comments at this time of night, man, they're getting fun. They're getting exciting. I like it. Dead ass. It's a great time. Yeah, so I had an interesting time. I've lived interesting moments throughout my life. And the 19 days that I was in Nashville, I was actually in Cumberland Furnace. So, I don't know, like 45 minutes outside of Nashville maybe. Um but maybe it's further, I don't remember. But did you know kangaroos have 3 vaginas? I did not. I did not know kangaroos had 3 vaginas. Would you eat baby's guts for vitality? Not Chinese. I don't want you to get sick. Hmm. Interesting, guys. I am so ready to have all of your babies. Guys, y'all are weird. It's freaking 12:52 in the morning. They say nothing good happens after midnight, so like maybe. Am I the only one here not wearing pants? Well, I mean, I'm not wearing a shirt, so fair game. I get it. Like, you do it. You do you. I actually hopped on a call with somebody today, and like when I do things without a shirt. But I was the consumer of this call, and I hopped on without a shirt, which I like never do. And I was like, you know what? Like I'm running my own freaking race. Like I'm gonna hold my own hand. Like I do what I want. Everybody. Okay, so cool. People say similar things to me, but actually it's not always the hair, it's the way I talk. And I don't hear it. I don't agree with it, but I certainly don't hear it. And but they don't like nobody ever guesses that I grew up in South Carolina. That being said, do you believe y'all, I don't want to get demonetized before I ever get monetized. We got to be careful about what we talk about. I think my cat is planning to harm me. I mean, so I don't know if y'all can see, but dog. Nolly here. So I've got dog. Cool dog, right? So she's got some weird like shoulder angles. Like they like come out like humans. And she's a cool dog, but couch. And Fooey, couch. Good girl. And like she looks kind of like a skinwalker. And so I'm like, is she? Like, is dog watching me? Is dog a shapeshifter? Like, she's a weird looking dog, right? She's a cool dog, super cool dog, but like, is she? I don't know. Because of your previous comments, I have no idea if you're being serious, but like, what an interesting life. Well, it might be 10:52 for you, but I'm on the East Coast and it is 12:54 now. Well, good. How'd you know? No one believes I'm from Nashville because I played video games as a kid, and they said sounds like my family tree is a wreath. So I changed my twang so long I dropped the Nashville twang. Actually, yeah. Yeah, I my family's accent is stronger than mine. But it comes out when I'm emotional. Like not like angry, but like excited. Like excited, it'll just like toilet turns into like toilet. Weird. Freaking weirdos. Not you. I mean, you're still a weirdo, but freaking weirdos, man. That's okay though. We gotta have a little bit of everybody, right? We gotta have like some normalcy, some weirdos, like gotta have the occasional person that we ban, like we gotta have a well-rounded. Oof, guys, it is tough. We have to have a well-rounded wheel. So, like a good brand, right? We need all spokes of the wheel to support all parts of the tire. Like our community, like what exists in the late night ether of YouTube live streams. We need all sorts of people. We need the normal people, the weirdos. We need all the spokes. I will still drop some cornbread words, but not like I used to. Yeah. Cornbread. Dude, cornbread. I love cornbread. So we have a restaurant here that I've never seen outside of Florida. It probably exists outside of Florida, but I've never seen one like outside of it. But First Watch, it's like a breakfast place. It's dope. I love it. Um, but they have this like cornbread, blueberry lemon cornbread, and it's like amazing. And it's on their seasonal menu and like, what are we doing? It's amazing. It's so good. It's like sweet and cornbready. But I like regular cornbread too. Like cornbread's dope. Cornbread is dope. Do we know if Mr. T still pities fools? I don't know. But I at least know who Mr. T is. Like Callie Muscle got brought up earlier, and I was like, who the heck is that? I don't know who that is, but I do know who Mr. T is. So We're making some progress, right? And I learn a lot from you guys. Like there's so many sayings that I don't know what they are, but I become educated, right? The internet. It's like I I say this a lot. I'm like YouTube University is great. Well, I'm at YouTube University in the comments. You guys say something and I'm like, I don't know what that means. And then a little bit later you explain it or somebody else explains it. First watch. We started getting them here pretty recently. Yeah. I actually really like them. I think they're dope. Um, so this is my third day streaming. This is not my third stream. This is today. Technically, this is my fifth stream in this 24-hour cycle. I'm doing part of it's reps. Like we just getting the reps in, right? We got to get better talking, get more comfortable talking. Like I had a coach one time um like tell me just to read like children's books and practice the like intonation, the enunciation, the word flow. And so just sitting here talking, vibing, getting used to it, being mindful of what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, and like all that, and getting used to talking. Because what I found is when I make like a tutorial for somebody, the voice is very normal. But then when I try to record a YouTube video, I sound very fake and scripted. And so learning how to become like just me talking to the camera, right? It's weird. Like you feel like you have to perform when you talk to the camera. I think my cat no longer wants to harm me. Coast is clear for now. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Um, yeah. So Saturday night, um, so this like live streaming. So we've been attempting social media since about January, about a week before I went to New York. But we'll call it like January 1st, 2025, 2026, not 2020. I would hope I would made more progress in a year. We'll say that we have been attempting social media in all aspects, like throwing mud at the wall, seeing what sticks since January 2026. We have been doing YouTube for this is week 3 of YouTube. This is day 3 of live streaming on YouTube. And it came together as like a late night thought. I was already in bed and I was having a hard time sleeping. And I tried to sleep, couldn't sleep. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like wake up. Like I'm just gonna not sleep. So I got my phone, started like doing the thing, and I'm on YouTube as like an end user. And there's all these late night live streams that are just like popping up on my phone. I'm like, I've never seen live streams on YouTube in vertical form. And I've never had them pushed to me. Interesting. And so I like got up, came out here, and like started participating in people's live streams. I was like, cool, man. I like this. We're going to do this. And so I set up live streaming and live streamed like 2 hours later at like 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. That was my first live stream. And then I've been doing 4 a day plus like a bonus one. And so I'm doing like part of my thing is like daily journal entries. So like morning journal, evening journal. And so I'm live streaming that. And it's like very specific to that. Like I pop on, I do my 4 prompts and then like pop off. And then I'm also live streaming when I cook. And so I've got a setup over there that like faces kitchen and I'll just like chit chat live stream while I cook. And then if I'm feeling froggy fresh, we do a bonus one. But the late night ones seem to like function better. So like I'm here for it, right? We might have to restructure the schedule to accommodate the end goal. Um, but that's my experience so far. And then what I am curious, like what is additional feedback on I was going to compliment on all that and your on-camera presence. What does that mean? Like elaborate. It means so many different things to so many different people. What does that mean? I'm sorry my chat sucks. I guess I'm a weirdo, darn. I don't think your chat sucks. Like I said, we need it, right? Well, the boss man is knocking on the bathroom door telling me my break is over and the forklift won't move itself. Bye, buddy. Gave it a light. Well, I appreciate that. And I wonder what type of forklift was it? We had Case. Those are the forklifts that like we drove. It's the only forklift that I've ever driven. And they were like the old, like, oof, they were rough. They were rough. But you live, you learn, and it is what it is. Oof, guys, I'm hungry. I am like hungry, but we'll eat. I'm gonna eat at 9, so we got 8 hours until we eat calories again. But we what's the word? What is the word? We haven't eaten since 2, so we ate our last meal at about 2 p.m. Haven't had calories since then. We haven't had a lot of we haven't ingested a lot of anything since then. We've had like 2 Topo Chicos. So what's the vibe now in the chat? What are we doing? Can anybody else in the chat do a Rubik's Cube? And if so, how long does it take you to do a Rubik's Cube? Like, it's difficult to look at the camera and just speak. Well, for me, it is. I posted videos a long time ago and literally said, like 45 times in a 5-minute video. Yeah, me too. Me too. What I have found is so the way that I talk right now, like when I make those really long pauses, that's how I talk in real life. And it's something I try to move away from. It was a function of lacking conviction throughout most of my life. And so I was very mindful of like the words that came out of my mouth. But it is now because it's such a practice skill because I was so uncomfortable with my life and really lacked conviction in everything I did. It has now become my go-to in trying to avoid in trying to avoid and because also in trying to avoid I switched to and because and is like less triggering than and like. And so when you hear me go and it's like the filler word. And so I got to get rid of that too. But we will eventually. But it's the reps, right? Like that's what we're doing here. It's the reps on reps on reps. And I did not do that one on purpose. But just figuring it out, right? And also figuring out like I've even noticed in the cooking, like on the live streams on the cooking, in just day 3, narrating that experience better, right? Because I think there's something to be said about being entertaining even when especially in the beginning. So in the beginning, while there's like not a real following, making sure that I'm entertaining enough for somebody to like pop in and be like, "Oh, cool. I like it and I'm going to stick around." I'm 31. I should have asked you how old do you think I am? That would have been way better. I am not a good host. I am not a good host. But we'll get again, that's what we're talking about. Skill acquisition. I will become a good host. I'm not a good host yet. We out here scamming people. Take your asses to the gym. People making you pay for a video ain't gonna help, FYI. Nobody's paying for a video. But you can certainly pay me. I mean, I'm open to it, but definitely not scamming people. But if you're super grumpy, that's okay too. I mean, we gotta have everybody, right? All corners of the internet. We got to have the weirdos. We got to have the grumpies. We got to have them all. I look 28, 29. There you go. Cool, man. The other night, people were like, oh my God, you look like 22. And I'm like, no, I've got too many wrinkles to be 22. But, and then I said that and they were like, oh, you sound like it's the voice. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, whatever. I don't like to blame people for shit, but I blame my parents for my inability to speak because I was told to be seen and not heard. And my responses were like one word responses. Well, that'll do it. So I was talking about self esteem the other day and where does self esteem develop and why does it even matter, right? Or not even why, because why doesn't really matter. I don't need to understand why. Why is stupid. Um, I can't find my cat and I'm supposed to sleep already. I closed my bedroom door. Oof. I hope I hope you find your cat. I am not a okay. That one you got me. I like that one. You got me. Um the I hate cats. I'm not a cat person. I do not like cats. Not for me. But dogs are good. But this dog's also like a cat. She climbs trees. She's very aloof. Um but she also listens like a dog. She listens quite well. If anybody pops over to my Instagram, Brannon.caps, you don't have to follow me. Like just go pop over to it, watch the story. If you want to follow me, follow me. But watch the story. Me and Dog had fun in the gym today. And so Dog is snoozing. She had a rough day. The rough life. That's why I started driving Uber because I can work on my speaking to people that I'm only going to know for a few minutes. Even I say something stupid, I won't see them again. Exactly. Exactly. So, in my struggle to like function immediately following getting fired, I started doing like remote sales, like setting appointments, closing, all of it. And it's like I had this one person tell me salespeople have a superpower of erasing people's memories because like you tell yourself because it's true. Like when a salesperson calls you, like you might like cuss them out, you might yell at them, be like, leave me alone, like don't call me again, whatever. Like what the hell's wrong with you? Like whatever you do, but then you forget about them like instantly. And it's like these people might be super mean to me, but then like I just move on and go to the next one. It's a really good practice. But the self esteem thing, the why doesn't matter, but how do we solve the self esteem problem matters. And so when we are young, like super young. So we're born, we don't really have this concept of like individualism. We don't individuate yet. And so we just exist as kind of an extension of mom. Me and mom are the same, right? And then as we start to grow up and start to develop and we start to become aware of self aware, and we start to, it's during individuation. And then we start to develop object permanence and we start to develop a theory of mind. And this is all where self esteem starts to kind of bubble out, right? It starts to develop. And what self esteem is this internal beacon, this internal anchor that allows us to navigate life, right? And the way we develop a self esteem is through observing our environment. And what that environment is when it starts to develop is mom and dad, typically. Typically, it's mostly mom, some dad. Obviously, it can be like anything of that, but mom and dad. And we start mimicking their strongest behaviors. And then two options mom and dad are like, cool, keep going. Or mom and dad have their own issues and they're insecure and they smack down like emotionally. Like it's basically like when they are like, oh, you're defiant, oh, this, oh, that, oh, that, just like scale it back to like 3, 4, 5 years old, right? And like you exhibit a behavior that you started mimicking from mom or dad, and they said bad behavior. And now your self esteem starts to deteriorate and you try something else. And then they smack you again and go bad behavior. And then you're like, well, crap, everything I do is wrong. I must be wrong. And now you don't have self-worth. You don't have that internal anchor that allows you to navigate the world. And now, as you get older and need to become more capable, you fail at all of these tasks because you don't have self esteem. And so you start to lose self efficacy. You no longer believe in your ability to succeed because you haven't been able to succeed because you don't have self esteem. And so when your self efficacy fails to develop and starts to erode, it feeds back onto your self esteem. And so now you have less esteem because you're like, oh, I'm worthless because I can't function in society. And now that worthlessness makes it harder to function in society. And it's this really nasty loop. And so, like self esteem, we got to develop the self esteem. The tangents are nice. Yo, you on the cream or the squirt team? Let me know. I don't know what that means. But if you want to explain it to me, I still might not answer, but at least the education, right? The education is so valuable. College is stupid, but education is valuable. So, it's my 2 cents. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I like can't even imagine what that means. Like I'm just trying to think through it in my head. I don't know what that means. But it's time. It's time to wind it down. We've been going for 2 hours. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. And we got to go to sleep. We got to go to sleep. Cuz we wake up and we do it all again in the morning. And we will be up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed very soon. And plus I got to take dog outside. Dog's got to go potty. So that's it. I'm wrapping it up. You got 2 seconds to leave another comment and then me and dog are going for a walk, a short walk, just a potty walk.